السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بكم في محاضرة جديدة، المحاضرة رقم 5 من مادة المحادثة 1 لفصل الربيع 2021. خلونا نبدأ. Let's get started with me, Ahmed Sudan. By the end of this lecture, students will be able to describe situations, conditions, and results. So today is all about description, how to describe a situation or to describe a photo. This is the main objective of this lecture. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, now describing a photo. If I ask you, could you describe this photo? Of course, there's a girl who's sitting, but there's more to it than that. Why don't we now listen to the audio file, listen to a student describe this photo, okay?
G. Exercises 3 and 4.
This photo shows a woman in a beautiful place in the countryside. I think it's sunrise. The woman is sitting on the ground. She's facing the sun. She's in the foreground. In the distance, I can see mountains and clouds. On the right of the photo, there are trees. On the left, I can see grass, I think. And at the top of the photo is the sun. It's very bright. It looks like a warm and sunny morning.
Okay, so as we heard the man or the student describing the first photo, there's a woman sitting facing the sun. It seems like she's in the countryside, and in the distance there's there are mountains, and on the right there are trees, and on the left there's grass. She's facing the sun. On the top there's the sun, and it's very bright, and it seems like a warm day. It seems like the photo was taken in the morning. So now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, read, listen again, and complete the key phrases using the preposition below. Okay, when we describe a photo, we can use these phrases: in the center, the background, the foreground. The background يعني في الخلفية، و the foreground اللي هي في المقدمة متاع الصورة. The distance في معناها يبان من بعيد أو حاجة تبان من بعيد. The left ولا the right. The bottom or the top. left اللي هو اليسار، والرايت اللي هو اليمين، top اللي هو أعلى الصورة، والbottom اللي هو أسفل الصورة. شنو هن prepositions اللي حنستعملوهن؟ إن عنا مرتين بنستعملوها، و at و on. okay، خلونا تو نسمع مرة تانية. try to complete these or fill in the gaps.
Lesson 6G. Exercises 3 and 4.
This photo shows a woman in a beautiful place in the countryside. I think it's sunrise. The woman is sitting on the ground. She's facing the sun. She's in the foreground. In the distance, I can see mountains and clouds. On the right of the photo, there are trees. On the left, I can see grass, I think. And at the top of the photo is the sun. It's very bright. It looks like a warm and sunny morning.
Okay, so we use in the background or in the foreground, in the center, in the distance, on the left or on the right, at the bottom or at the top. Okay? Okay, when we describe a photo, you begin by saying what the photo shows in general. يعني أنت بتعطي لمحة عامة على الصورة. Then describe different parts of the photo using phrases like in the center. يعني بعدين مثلا this seems like a picture or a photo taken in the countryside, people having a picnic or whatever, or camping. بعدين تبدأ تفصل شي فيه on the left, شي فيه on the right, شي فيه in the center, شي فيه in the foreground, in the background, in the distance, at the top or at the bottom. Okay, remember to use present tenses in your description. يعني تذكر انك انت تستعمل المضارع الأزمنة المضارعة. Okay, خلونا نشوفوا the next slide. Can you think of a description of this photo? Okay, let's listen to another person describing the second photo, which is this one.
Lesson 6G. Exercise 6.
In this photo, we can see some men and women on a camping holiday. On the left, a woman is standing next to a car. In the center, there's a yellow tent. A woman with long hair is walking past the tent. On the right, a man is sitting on a rock. He's facing the car. In the distance, there are mountains. It's a sunny day. On the right, we can see trees. It's a beautiful place for camping, in my opinion.
Okay, now as we heard the student describing the photo, she followed the same pattern by describing the photo in general first, then starting using phrases like in the center, on the left, on the right, etc., etc. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Now listen to two students describing photos A and B.
Lesson 6G. Exercises 2 and 3. Student 1.
In the center, there's a bear. It's standing next to a tent. And there's a man in the tent. The bear is facing the man, and the man is looking at the bear. There are some trees in the background, so they're probably in a forest. The man is probably frightened, but you can't really see that in his face. The bear walked up to the tent. It probably wanted food or something like that.
Student 2.
This photo shows two people, a man and a woman, in the sea near a tropical island. They're probably on holiday. They look happy and relaxed. The sky is completely clear. There aren't any clouds. And it's probably really warm. At the top of the photo are two dolphins. They're jumping out of the water. But the man and the woman can't see them because they're facing the camera.
Okay, after we heard a description of these two photos from student A and B, let's move on to the next slide now. Okay, match the phrases in the table with the diagrams. Okay, we have these diagrams A to H, and we have these phrases. So he's climbing up, he's facing the tree, he's looking down or up, he's lying on the ground, he's running, he's standing, he's sitting on something, and he's walking. فخلونا نشوفوا climbing اللي هي which photo, which one, which diagram. It's D. And he is facing the tree. Facing يعني يقابل أو يواجه شيء معين، فهذه بتكون A. It's not necessarily a tree. It might be he's facing a car, he's facing a house, he's facing a bear. anything يعني. والله she's facing for that matter. He's looking up or down. He's looking up or down. Which diagram is this? It's F. He's looking up. What? This one. He's looking up or down. We can say he's looking down. He's lying on the ground. He's lying on the ground. This diagram is B. This one. He's lying on the ground. بعدها عنا he is running. He is running. Which one is this? It's G. Diagram G. بعدها عنا he is just standing. He is just standing, which is C. This one. هذا الدياجرام هذا. بعدها عنا he's sitting on. يعني هو جالس على. طبعا on نقدر نكملها. He's sitting on a rock. He's sitting on a chair, on a desk. Okay, whatever يعني. فهنا اللي هي H اللي هو الدياجرام H. بعدها عنا he's walking ولا she's walking ولا they're walking اللي هو E اللي هو E. طبعا هذا مش بالضرورة يكون he مرة she مرة they، فنقوله they're walking, she's walking, he's walking، و he's facing the tree ولا he's facing a car، he's lying on the ground ولا he's lying on a bed، he's sitting on a chair. فهذين الكلمات نقدر احنا نضيفوهن ونغيروهن يعني كيف ما نحبه. Okay, now let's go to the next photo. Okay, circle the correct words to complete the sentences. احنا عندنا الصورتين هذا كيف سمعنا ال description متاعهن. هنقوله in the center ولا on the center. Okay, if you remember, it's in the center. In the center there's a bear. In the center there's a bear. There's a man in the right or on the right. It's on the right. Okay, there's a man on the right. The man, okay, look at the photo. The man is facing the bear or looking the bear. It is facing. يعني هو مقابل الدب. Okay, he's facing the bear. The bear is sitting or standing by the tent. يعني هل هو الدب واقف أو جالس بجنب الخيمة؟ هو is standing. The bear is standing. There are some trees in the background ولا in the foreground. في المقدمة متاع الصورة ولا في المؤخرة متاع الصورة. It's in the background. Okay, so there are some trees in the background. And so they're probably in a forest. الصورة الثانية اللي هي الصورة B عندنا in the background ولا foreground there are two people. هل هي في foreground هذه ولا في background؟ طبعا it's in the foreground لأنها في المقدمة متاع الصورة وليس في الخلفية متاع الصورة. بعدين عندنا at the distance ولا in the distance there's an island. In the distance كلمة distance تجي معها in زي ما خدنا بكري. In the distance there's an island. In the distance there's an island. At the top ولا bottom of the photo there are two dolphins. هل في أسفل الصورة ولا في أعلى الصورة؟ There are two dolphins. إذن هي at the top. At the top of the photo there are two dolphins. اللي بعدها the man and the woman are standing in the water while lying in the water. They are standing inside the water. And the last one, the man and the woman are facing the dolphins ولا aren't facing the dolphins. يعني هل هم يشبهوا في الدولفين ولا لا. لو نشبهوا بالصورة نلقوا إنهم يعني they are not facing the dolphins. They are not facing the dolphins. فالإجابة بتكون they aren't facing the dolphins. Okay, so this is how we describe photos. خلينا نمشي السلايد اللي بعدها. Listen to the two students describing photos A and B. Okay. خلونا نسمع. Okay, now let's listen.
Lesson 2G, exercises 2 and 3. Student 1. Please describe the photo.
Well, on the left there are some trees, and in the centre there's a woman walking along. She's hiking somewhere. It looks like a forest. She's holding a pole in each hand, and she's wearing a rucksack, I think. At the bottom of the picture you can see that it's a really muddy path, but the woman doesn't look worried. She seems to be having a good time.
Thank you. Student 2. Please describe the photo.
The photo shows 5 people in a dinghy. They're white water rafting on a river. In the top left corner of the photo, there is a man leaning out of the boat. In the foreground, there's a lot of water. The man at the back of the dinghy is trying to guide the dinghy with his paddle. The other 4 people aren't helping very much. It looks as if they're new to it. They're all wearing the same life jackets and helmets. I imagine they're doing this as a holiday activity.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's move on to the next slide, describing a place. As you can see, this is a kitchen. Can you describe this photo? What has got in it? So we're gonna listen to someone describing this kitchen, and then we will move on.
Tape script 26. It's a modern kitchen, nice and clean, with a lot of cupboards. There's a washing machine, a fridge, and a cooker, but there isn't a dishwasher. There are some lovely pictures on the walls, but there aren't any photographs. There's a radio near the cooker. There are some flowers, but there aren't any plants. On the table, there are some apples and oranges. And there are some cups and plates next to the sink.
Okay, so as we heard the description of this modern kitchen, there are cupboards, washing machine, a cooker, fridge, cups, dishes, apples and oranges, and some other stuff. But now let's move on to the next slide. Let's try to listen again and finish or fill in the gaps, okay?
Tape script 26. It's a modern kitchen, nice and clean, with a lot of cupboards. There's a washing machine, a fridge, and a cooker, but there isn't a dishwasher. There are some lovely pictures on the walls, but there aren't any photographs. There's a radio near the cooker. There are some flowers, but there aren't any plants. On the table, there are some apples and oranges. And there are some cups and plates next to the sink.
Okay, so after listening to the description, what pattern do you recognize? لو تبي تقول في شيء معين في الصورة فنقوله there is ولا there are. فشوفوا هنا there's a washing machine, there's a fridge, there's a cooker. لكن لو بننفو نقوله there isn't a dishwasher, there isn't a TV for example. هنا ما فيش تلفزيون مثلا. هنا في حالة المفرد there is و there isn't. لكن في حالة الجمع بنقوله there are some lovely pictures on the wall. فهنا there are some lovely pictures on the wall. There are some oranges and apples. Okay, but there aren't any photographs. ما فيش يعني شيء معين، ما فيش صور شخصية. فهنا there aren't. Okay, there aren't any هنا نستعملها مع النفي. There aren't any photographs. There's a radio. When a radio near the cooker. This is the cooker. Okay, and there are some flowers. وهناك بعض الزهور. ولكن there aren't any plants. ولكن لا يوجد أي نباتات. فهنا نستعمل there is و there isn't و there are و there aren't. ونستعمل مع النفي any. There aren't any plants. On the table there are some apples and oranges. ففي حالة الإثبات نقدر نستعمل some في حالة الجمع نقول there are some apples. There are some lovely pictures on the wall. فهنا some نستعملها في حالة الإثبات والany نستعملها في حالة النفي. On the table there are some apples and oranges. And there are some cups and plates next to the sink. طبعا هذه السink and these are the plates and the cups. فهنا مرة تانية it's a modern kitchen. هي مطبخ حديثة. Nice and clean يعني نظيفة وجميلة. With a lot of cupboards يعني الدواليب هذينا. There's a washing machine. هذه washing machine اللي هي الغسالة. A fridge هذه الثلاجة. And a cooker اللي هو غاز الطهي. But there isn't a dishwasher. لكن ما فيش غسالة متاع معين. There are some lovely pictures on the wall. هناك بعض الصور الجميلة معلقة على الحائط. ولكن there aren't any photographs. ولكن لا وجود للصور الشخصية. There aren't any photographs. There's a radio. هناك راديو. Near the cooker. بالقرب من غاز الطهي. There are some flowers. هناك بعض الأزهار. هي الأزهار. But there aren't any plants. ولكن لا توجد أي نباتات. مفيش أي نباتات في المطبخ. On the table على الطاولة there are some apples and oranges. هناك بعض التفاح والبرتقال. And there are some cups and plates. وهناك بعض الأكواب والصحون. Next to the sink بالقرب أو بجانب حوض الغسيل. إذن هذه نهاية الشق الأول. تو خذينا كيف describing a photo سواء كان شنفها أو كيف نصفه مكان معين. طبعا نقدروا نقولوا this photo as a homework for you to describe. So what's in it, what's in the foreground, what's on in the background, what's in the distance, who's in it, what's he doing. There's a man in the photo. There's a man sitting on a rock. and watching the sea or looking at the sea or the river. Yeah, the sky is cloudy يعني فيها غيوم. شايفيه في ال left وشايفيه on the right. شايفيه at the top شايفيه at the bottom. There are some rocks on the bottom. Yeah, فهنا يعتبر نقدر نديروها as an assignment كواجب، انكم انتم تديروا description للفوتو هذه. إذا كانت هذه نهاية الفصل الأول من المحاضرة الخامسة لمادة المحادثة 1 with me teacher أحمد سويدان. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.